Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is a super easy tutorial on how to cut this A-line dress with cut together sleeve and cut together pocket as well. So for this you'll be needing about 2 yards of fabric, which should be on fold as you can see into 4. From one end of the fabric to the other is 21 inches. That is from shoulder to sleeve plus 1 inches for folding. And I'm going to come down from that start line by 15 inches, which is my half length measurement. So from my shoulder to my half length is 15 inches, and I'll connect it with a ruler. That is where I'll be placing my waist measurement. For the neckline of my dress, I'll be making use of 3.5 inches. We are cutting both the front and the back together. So the wideness of the neck will be the 3.5 inches I'm marking. The depth of the front neckline will be 3.5 inches as well. And then the depth of the back neckline will be 2 inches as you can see. So connect the neckline depth to the wideness and also the front neckline depth to the wideness. Then at the other end where your sleeve will be, come down by 2 inches and then connect it to the neckline with your ruler. This will form my shoulder slope. Now for the wideness of your sleeve, I'm just going to be making use of 9.5 inches. So you can use whatever you want around that area. Just make sure that the sleeve is free enough for you. Next, measure the distance you have from your sleeve depth to that 15 inches you have for your half length. Mark at another interval. That will serve as our bust or chest line. That's where we'll be inputting our bust measurement. The bust measurement I'm working with is 36 inches. Divided by 4 is 9. Add 1 inch for ease and another extra 1 inch for seam allowance. So there I'm supposed to be having about 11 inches. I'm just cross-checking to make sure that it's up to that amount. Now on the waistline, that is your half length area also, you're supposed to do the same thing. Your waist measurement plus 1 inch for ease and another 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, but since it's an A-line dress, I really wanted that area to still be a little bit free for me. So I'm just going to remove half inch from that measurement, which means I should have about 10.5 inches. Okay, and then just connect those points with your ruler and then use a curve to connect from that waistline to your sleeve as you can see. And then for the full length of the dress, I'm working with is 44 inches, and that's like the total length of my Ankara fabric. So I'm just going to measure it to make sure that I have what I need, and yes, that is 44 inches. So determine the wideness of the dress, that is the width of the hem of your dress. Mine, I want to be 80 inches in total. That's 20. I'm just going to use the total length because on fold is already 21. Then connect it to the waistline. You now have the shape of your A-line. And now at the waist area, blend it. Then come up from the hem by about 1.5 inches. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Come up by about 1.5 inches to just give it a nice curve that you blend back into the center of your hem. Now our dress, like I said, has a cut together pocket. So for that, you can come down from that half length area by about 1 inch and then measure down about 7 inches also. 7 inches should be free enough for you to put your hand freely inside. So to draw your pocket, just put your hand the way you are seeing me, or you can draw it freehand in a way that your hand can be free enough to, just enter, and you can keep things inside too. So this is the shape of my pocket. Now you can cut your neckline. Starting from your back neckline, please do not cut your front neckline yet. And at the shoulder area, cut leaving half inch. So the half inch will be for joining the shoulders together. Then we move on to the hem of the dress. Cut that as well. So when you're cutting the side of your dress, please remember that this pocket is cut together with the dress. Do not cut it out. Okay, so when you reach that point, all you just have to do is to pivot your scissors and then just cut around the pocket like that. If you're enjoying this tutorial so far, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and also share. Thank you. Then cut your sleeve as well. So with that, we are basically done with the cutting of the dress. We'll be using these pieces for facing of the necklines. So before you cut your front neckline, separate the front of the dress from the back of the dress. Okay, so we are left with only the front neckline now. You can just arrange it and then cut the front neckline following that chalk line that we drew. After cutting the next thing to do is to give it a slit along that center area of the front neckline. This will make wearing the dress to be easier for the person since our dress does not have zip. So please, when you are cutting, make sure you cut only 1.5 or 1 inch so that you not expose the person's chest. So here we have our back cut and the front cut also. We will be going to cut the facing. To cut that, just fold your fabric in two as you can see me do. The pieces I'm using is already in fold or is already on fold. Alright, so that's the part I'll be using for the front since it's longer. So both of them are on fold, right? So you place the front on top of the facing and then use your chalk to outline the neckline as it is and also the shoulder. Okay, now since we have a slit at the front, you need your facing to be longer at the chest area than at the shoulder area. Our slit is around 1.5 inches. So we need the facing at the center front area to be about 4 inches in depth. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So just blend it into the shoulder area. And with that, we are done with the facing for the front. So you place your facing on the front pattern, right sides facing each other, and pin. While pinning, please ensure that the place that slit you have at the front is closed together, so there's no gaping and the facing will align perfectly with the neckline of the front. So it is when you are sewing, is when we are going to sew, that we'll make provision for that slit. For the facing of the back neckline, arrange your fabric, let it be on fold, and then the piece that is the piece of fabric you are using for facing should also be on fold, same way it was for the front one. So let the center folds, those folds, be on top of each other. Then you use your chalk to outline the neckline just the same way you did for the front piece. So outline your neckline once again and also trace it along the shoulder. I'm just going to pick up the piece of the front, that is the facing for the front, to ensure that whatever I have along that shoulder is the same for both the back and the front facing. Okay, and I had 3.5, so I'm just going to use that 3.5 all the way to just trace it all the way around. As you can see, I'll connect the one at the shoulder to the one at the center back and then cut out my facing. So you open up your fabric once again, right sides facing, pin the facing to the dress. Then take it to your sewing machine and sew. And for the front also, you take it to the sewing machine and sew. But when you come to the beginning of your slit, okay, just be careful along that area. Follow the shape of the slit as you can see it, and then go up. Let the both of them along that area be the same height. I hope you can understand. So let the beginning of both sleeves be the same height. And when stitching along that V, please be careful. So just take it to your sewing machine and sew it. Here I'm going to be showing you exactly what I mean by that. So I'm sewing along the neckline as you can see. Now when you come to that slit, with your needle still inside the cloth, pivot and then sew your V. And at that V point still, you can pivot your fabric just to get that sharp V along that area, and then sew it back to the beginning of the slit, making sure that it is on the same line or it is the same measurement with the first one that you sewed. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Then just sew the rest of the neckline. So after you are finished sewing the neckline, just take out your pins. Also open the slit, and when you are opening the slit, please be careful, especially around that V area. You have to cut it close to the end of the V, but still not enough to, press into or to cut into your thread. So give it a few notches to just help the shoulder area to relax. Then turn it inside out. So I'm just using my scissors to turn it inside out so I can have that sharp point at the beginning of my slit. And next, that is when I'm going to iron it. I'll be using my fabric, that is the hemming gum, to just hold the fabric in place along that area. Same for the back. So for the back piece, I've gone ahead to sew it, and then I'm just giving it a few notches to help it relax around the curve. And after that, turn it inside out also. Next, we join the back of the dress to the front by the shoulder, and for that you're going to just put them right sides facing each other. Okay, put them right sides facing each other and matching along that neckline area. Your neckline seam should match, should align perfectly, and then you use one of the facings to cover the remaining three. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So that's just enable you to, hide your stitch and make that shoulder area to be neat. So align them and then use one facing to cover the rest, and then pin. So that by the time you join, by that ½ inch allowance that we left along that area, by the time you join it and then you turn it inside out, it will be neat. I've gone ahead to join at the shoulder, and I'm just going to snip it a little bit along that area so that there will be no bulkiness at that joining. So you turn it inside out. So this is it. I've joined the shoulder already. The back of the dress is joined to the front, and our seam inside and out is clean along that area. The next thing we are going to do is to fold both of the sleeves. So I left 1 inch allowance for the folding of the sleeve. That means I can fold half and then half again. So just take both of the sleeves to the sewing machine and fold it. Now I'm done folding my sleeves. The next thing we are going to do is to align our dress for us to join. So turn your fabric to the wrong side and start pinning. So starting from the sleeve area, pin all the way to your pocket area. So the pin will just help you hold your fabric in place while you are joining so that your seams don't become even at the end. And for the hem of the dress, I decided to just fold the hem of the dress before I join my side seams. That can be done at any stage. You can decide to join at the side seam before folding. But here, I have 1 inch for my folding, so I'm just going to fold half and half all the way around and to the second hem also. So just take it to the sewing machine and fold the hem of your dress. Here I am done folding, so I'll continue my arrangement and pinning. After pinning, the next thing to do is to join the sides of your fabric. Alright, so for the joining of the dress, I'll be using my 1 inch seam allowance. So I start with my 1 inch seam allowance, but whenever I get to the pocket area, you reduce your allowance to half an inch around the curve of the pocket. Okay, so that area will be half an inch, but when you come to the end of the pocket, you continue with your 1 inch to the hem. Then pin also the other side of your dress and take it to the sewing machine to sew it all the way around. So here I've already sewn it. The next thing I'm going to do is to give it a few notches. So I'll notch around the pocket to reduce the bulkiness and help it to open, and then I'll also notch around that armhole area and the end of the pocket as well. So the notches will help your fabric to relax, like the inseam of your dress, it helps them to relax. With this, guys, we are done with the sewing of our dress. You can accessorize this dress however you want. You can use a belt to give it a ruche around the waist area. I accessorized mine with bows, but also please iron it very well so that you can appear crisp and beautiful. So much, guys, for staying with me to the end of this tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and push the notification bell so that whenever I upload new tutorials you will be notified. Thank you so much.